Hey you guys, come on in. Welcome to my channel, Simply Ramona. Today I am making my homemade onion gravy. This right here is 3 onions diced, but it's optional. You can use how many onions you want. You can use less onions. You can use more onions. So I love to make this gravy, y'all. I'm telling you, it goes so good with anything. So these are the ingredients for making my gravy. I use unsalted butter. You can use salted butter. I use store-bought stock. And I also use my homemade chicken broth. You know, that's seasoned real good. I use gluten-free flour. You can use whatever flour you prefer. Salt, that's optional. Because if the broth is seasoned good, then, Olive oil for the pan. So you can, you want to, pour some in there. How many you want, how much you want. Okay. I don't measure at this point. I don't measure how much oil I put in my pan. But yes, make sure your pan is nice and hot. Now we are going to add the onions. Yes, the onions is my favorite part of making this gravy. Onions is also optional too for this recipe. It's very optional. Somebody wanted me to give them the recipe. You know what? I actually don't have this written down anywhere. This is at the top of my head, so I go with the flow when I make it. Now you want to saute this to like 5 or 7 minutes until it's transparent. How you do. However you do. When you in your kitchen is what you do. Okay, there's no rules in your kitchen when you're in it. You can do whatever you want. So, yes, I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to add Mrs. Dash. That's optional. You can add whatever seasoning you want. But Miss Dash don't have no salt. That's a plus for me, Don't have no salt. I got 1 teaspoon of Mrs. Dash. You can add, you can add more. You can add none. You don't have to add anything at this point if you don't want. But I love to season my onions. I actually added a little bit more. Here. But you do whatever you want to do in your kitchen, like I said, I don't have this recipe written down anywhere. I just do this from memory. So yeah, I'm actually doing a voiceover for this video right now because sometimes my house is not quiet. Husband in the living room watching TV, son in the room, on the computer, having fun, all loud and everything. So yeah, TV going, music playing. Yes, when I'm in the kitchen, I love to have music playing. Oh my God, it's so fun when you have music playing and it gets you dancing and it gets you grooving and, you're just having all kinds of fun. All kinds, I can't ever be in the kitchen and not have music playing, whether it's jazz, R&B, gospel, whatever, Disney. Okay, let's get back to this video. I'm getting off course. So yeah, it's been cooking about 3 minutes here, but you can cook it for 5 to 7 minutes if you want. You can cook it longer than 7 minutes if you want, but I know it's going to cook more and, when I add the liquid and everything and, so, yeah, this part will be, going on for a bit, but yeah, I just wanted to show this part to y'all to let y'all know how long I go, I may have paused it a few times, but I just want y'all to know how long I cook my onions, you know. I didn't do the whole 5 to 7 minutes, you know. I may have done 3 minutes. But it's like I said, it's your kitchen. You do whatever you want to do. Oh, now I'm taking it out. Obviously, 5 or 7 minutes has passed. So I'm taking it out. I'm putting it in the bowl. Now, don't rinse at this point. Once you take all your onions out, don't rinse the pot. Do not. You want to keep a little bit onions in there, and a little bit seasonings in there and everything. And there you go. Voila. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is adding the butter. This is 1 stick of butter. You can use 1/4 stick of butter if you want. I'm using a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. You can use 1/4, which is what? 1/2 cup. Half of a half. You know, 1/4. Yes, 4 tablespoons. You can use it. So this is frozen butter, by the way. I use frozen butter because I keep all my butter frozen, you know, because I am a baker. I make sure I have a lot of butter, you know, on deck. But yeah, so you want to let this melt, you know, before you add anything else to it. So, excuse me. Yes, you want to let this melt. It may take a while, but you know, I was gonna do a speed up, you know, speed video, a sped up video. But yeah, I'm just moving it around, you know, so it can melt faster. But I said, you know what? Let me just talk through this video, you know, for those who wants to see this recipe. So now this is the gluten-free flour. You can use the gold medal flour. You can use whatever flour you want to use, but I use gluten-free flour because I'm gluten-free. Okay, can't use anything with wheat. So we're going to spoon out about a 1/2 cup of flour. That's a 1/2 cup right there, guys. 1/2 cup. We're going to fill that up with some flour, of course. And now you can use less, but usually I use 1/4 cup of flour. I use 1/4 stick of butter. So for every stick of butter, I use a 1/2 cup. So 1/4, you know, 1/4 butter, 1/4 cup of flour. 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of flour. Now the butter is melting now. The butter is, you know, almost there, you know, moving it around so it can melt, you know. Once it melt down, once it melt down, we're going to go on to the next step. Now, I'm not going to be talking through this whole video. I just want y'all to, you know what I'm talking about. Now, we got 1 cup of broth. That's 1 cup I use for my broth. Okay, I'm getting that ready because, you know, once you put the flour in, you know, you have to add the broth in right away. Okay, so there you go. Bubbling. Butter. And I'm adding in the 1/2 cup of flour. Now you're going to stir it around, whisk it around until it's blended in with the flour. With the butter. You know, you don't add the broth in at this point. Just keep cooking it for about 2 minutes, you know. Get it bubbly, you know. Get the flour cooking for a minute. Sorry, I put that down because I went to go set the timer. So yeah, that's why y'all saw the whisk down. You saw me put the whisk down because I set the timer. Okay, so I'm not going to actually be here 2 minutes talking to you, know, doing this. But I whisk it for about 2 minutes, about a minute, you know. Okay. So yeah, whisking it, you know, mixing it in with the butter, you know. Make sure it's cooking in there together, you know. Yeah, it's getting mixed real good. Yeah. I usually don't time myself when I'm cooking my gravy. You know, I usually don't do that, but I'm in there with my music going, and now we're gonna add 1 cup of store-bought broth. Sorry, stop. 1 cup of this is chicken unsalted stock. Now you can use your homemade broth if you want. I do that also. So that was 1 cup that I added to the mixture, the butter and the flour mixture. That's 1 cup. And I make sure I stir until it gets a little bit thick. Then I added another cup. This is actually the 3rd cup that I'm adding. I actually added a cup before. I may have, paused it and did a cup. But yeah, this is about, I think that I'm correct me if I'm wrong. This may be the 3rd cup that I'm adding, because I usually add 3 cups of the chicken unsalted stock store-bought. I add 3 and 3 of my homemade chicken broth. So I'm going to stir this in, make sure I'm getting it all whisked together, mix it together. You want to keep whisking it, because you don't want your gravy to burn. You don't want you don't want this mixture to burn. So I think I have this on low flame, about low heat, yeah. Okay, y'all. So yes, I did do the 3 cups. So this is my homemade chicken broth right here. So I added 3 of the store-bought stock. So this is my first. Ooh, what was that? It was some frozen, because I keep my chicken broth frozen. I keep some on hand. You see how well seasoned that is? Oh, sometimes when I season my own broth, I don't need to add no extra salt. I mean, yes, look at that. Oh, 1 cup of homemade chicken broth. You stir that around, add that into the other 3 cups of, chicken stock. Now, my homemade chicken broth is seasoned well. I don't need to add no extra salt to it. I know I showed y'all the salt earlier, but that was for just in case. I usually only add 1 teaspoon of that salt. Okay, I think I'm making another cup, filling up another cup here. Like I said, this is a voiceover. I usually do the actual talking in my videos, but not this time because my house was noisy. So I think this is the 2nd cup of my homemade chicken broth. Yeah. And okay. That was the 2nd cup. So I'm pouring the 3rd cup. Yes. I empty out the jar. There you go. A little bit more of a cup, but it don't matter. I don't add water to my gravy. Y'all can. That's optional. I usually add 6 cups of broth. 3 cups of stock. 3 cups of broth. Homemade. 3 cups of homemade. 3 cups of store-bought. So, yeah. I mean, if I have enough broth, I usually use all the broth. So, I don't need to add, But, yeah. So, right here, I'm going to let it cook. I'm tasting it now. I'm going to taste it to see if I need to add salt here. But usually, my stock is... Mwah! I'm tasting it. Yummy. Giving y'all the thumbs up. It's good to go. Don't need no salt. We can move on. I'm going to let it cook. Let it simmer. I like to see the bubble, mix it all in. I like to see the bubbles, that let you know that it's simmering. All right, you guys, I'm actually talking through this whole video. Yes. Okay. We're going to let it cook. Add in the onions. Yes. That's about 3 large onions. I love onions. You can use more, you can use less, you can use none if you don't want to. It's all up to you. This is my version of onion gravy. Just letting y'all know. Okay, stirring it around. Don't need to whisk no more because we got the onions in there. Nobody like no onions in them whisk. I know I don't. So I'm cooking it. I'm stirring it around. Got the flame a little bit high. A little bit high up here. Stirring it around. Oh, that looks so good. I can smell it from here. Smells so good. So yeah, I'm stirring it around. Yes, yes. Stirring it around. So there you go, guys. That's how I make my gravy. And there you go. You see the little simmering bubbles? Yes. Also, I put it in the oven too for like 15 minutes. But that's optional. You don't have to put it in the oven. You can just cook it on the stove for 15 minutes and then it's done. There you go. It's simmering. So I'm going to give y'all a rundown of how my ingredients that I use. I use 1 stick of butter. I use 3 onions. I use a half a cup of flour and 6 cups of broth. 3 cups of stock, 3 cups of homemade broth. Teaspoon of salt is optional, but hey, if you season your broth well, you won't need to add extra salt. I use 3 large onions, if I didn't say that, and Mrs. Dash. There you go. Thank you guys for watching. Look how that's rumbling. Let me know if y'all want me to do more of these voiceover videos, But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you care, and I will see you guys next time with the next video. Let's just continue to watch this thing simmer. You can just smell it. So this is pretty easy to make. Pretty easy to make. Look at that. Look at that rumbling. Look at that rumbling simmering. Look at that rumbling. This rumbling, I love it. Now you don't have to put it in the oven if you don't want to. That's optional. Now this been out the oven. 15 minutes past. This been out the oven. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you care. And I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know if y'all want me to do more of these voiceovers. This is kind of fun. Bye.